Taeyang. He smiles at the sound of her name on her L. P.S. His eyes never leaving hers. He leans into key dollar her again, his hands moving to the CLSP of her BPA. With a swift movement, he UNHKS it, freeing her BR pound at STS. His thumbs TR at C the sends, tiv SK, and around her AR Euro all is before his MU takes .1 into his WAPMTH, he N. PS and SUKS, Eli copyright adding a soft MN from her. You taste so sweet, he murmurs against her skin. YN, her N at ILS dig into his shoulders as his mouth plays with her sensitive flesh. Taeyang, PU SYNCL sear, his eyes SC at and ending the room. The WAPMTH from the .CR at CK Ling fireplace dancing in his eyes. I'm sorry, my love, he whispers, his BR pound FWRM against her cheek. I didn't mean to ruin the mood. I just couldn't stand another moment without feeling your TH. His hand gently as TR casts her apayam, a silent promise of the passion that awaits them. You look so beautiful in this light, he says, a hint of a smile playing on his LPS. YN, blushing slightly, YN looks up at him, her eyes filled with a mix of surprise and affection. Tay your friends are still outside, she says softly, glancing towards the door. Her voice is barely above a whisper, filled with both hesitation and the unmistakable thrill of his sudden need for her. Taeyang, with a low chuckle, Taeyang leans in, his forehead touching hers. Let them wait. This is our time. Our sanctuary, he says, his voice deep and reassuring. His hand slides up to DLE her cheek, his thumb brushing over her plump bottom LP. They'll understand. YN, her heart races, but she nods slightly, a hint of a smile playing on her L. P.S. She knows he's right. Their connection is too strong to be denied. Okay, she whispers, her eyes fluttering shut as he key dollar as her gently, the Washington Pi MPA of his touch igniting a flame within her. She melts into him, her arms WR at ping around his NCK as his hands begin to explore the curves of her BDY THYUNG with AGRN of pure need. Taeyang D pound pens the key dollar, his hands moving to the small of her back, pre-ing her CL sear. I've missed you so much, he murmurs, his voice thick with day. His hands SL, P under her sweater, feeling the smoothness of her SK. And his thumbs TRC the Washington ;AST band of her G at NS, the Uranus of the F at brick counter at sting with the softness beneath. In her eyes W, done as his hands are AM, but she doesn't protest. Instead, she responds with a gentle amen, her apime is T, turning around him. She can feel his Washington Pi MPA seeping into her, chasing away the last remnants of cold from outside. I've missed you too, she whispers between key $S, her BJR copyright hing towards him, seeking more contact THYUNG, Taeyang's eyes at hand with paw $. On as he feels her respond, he breaks the key $, briefly, his gaze dropping to her L. PS before he captures them again in a bruising key $. We need to be quiet, he murmurs against her mouth, his voice a seductive rumble that sends a THR. L down her space and E, his H at Eddie is SL, P down to her H. P.S. guiding her back towards the bedroom with a gentle nudge YN. Her cheeks are flushed, and her BRE thing is shallow as she nods. Allowing herself to be LD, she can feel the anticipation building within her. A sweet tension that makes her all Euro G's TR pound emble slightly. But what if they come in? She whispers, a hint of nervousness in her voice. Taeyang stops at the doorway to the bedroom, looking back at her with a smoldering gaze. Then we'll just have to be quick, he teases, his smirk, playful yet filled with heat. He opens the door, ushering her inside and closing it softly behind them. The room is dimly lit, the flickering candles casting an intimate glow in. Her eyes dart around the room, taking in the cozy, romantic scene he set up for them. She beat case her bottom LP, a nervous habit that only makes her look more tempting. But what if they hear us, she whispers, her voice quivering slightly. Thyung. Taehyung's smirk turns into a full smile as he as her CL seer, his hands resting on her H. P.S. Then we'll just have to be quieter, won't we? He says, his tone playful yet firm. He pound ends into key section her and pound CK, his teeth grazing her SK, and lightly, don't worry, I'll make it worth it. Double quotes. YN. A soft gasp escapes her all. P.S. As he key $es her neck, she can feel his WRM, BR pound against her SK. N sending SH verse DW and her SP, NE, she nods, her eyes fluttering closed. Okay, Tay, she whispers, her voice barely audible. Her hands come up to his, CH pound AC, her fingertips tracing the firm muscles beneath his shirt. THYUNG. The sound of her voice, the feel of her TH. It's all too much to resist. With a gentle tug, he guides her towards the bed. His eyes never leaving hers. He sits on the edge, ing her between his LGs. You're so beautiful, he murmurs, his hands moving to the hem of her SW pound ADA. He FTS it up slowly, rep pound alling the soft SK. N of her street mock. He keyed $as her there, his PSL, NG pound ring for a moment before Vang H. Gertu, and cover the lacy bpia ben pound at. Y, and her hands rest on his shoulders for balance as he keyed $as her. Her eyes still, CL said. She can feel the heat from his mouth through the fabric of her BPA, making her an PPLESP pound ock. She opens her eyes to find him looking at her with a fiery intensity that makes her knees weak. Double quotes, she whispers. Her voice, trembling with dissection ire, she tries to keep her voice down, the excitement bubbling. In her CHST, we really SHOULDN single quotes double quotes she breathes. But her words are cut off by his key $S. She feels his hands SL. Ding down her back, unbuttoning her J pound ends. Taehyung, with a knowing chuckle, he S away from her and CK, looking up at her with a mischievous glint in his eyes. But we're going to, aren't we? He says, his voice a soft DRWL. He tugs at the Z. PP poundar, her jeans SL PP, NGD when her H. P.S. Arve ling the matching la copyright YPNTS. He runs AF, anger along the Washington. Spanned, tracing the pattern of the L at C. You're always so prepared for me, love. In, her cheeks burn with a mix of embarrassment and arousal. She nods, stepping out of the pool of denim at her feet. Her hands find his SH. RT buttons, her own need to feel his SK, NG are wings stronger. Always, she murmurs, her voice TH. CK with the $ire, she PU haze the SH, RT off his shoulders. Her eyes drinking in the sight of his muscular chest and the ink that adder in acid. THYUNG. His eyes follow her movements, watching as she underpound as $as him with .EG hands. He CH pyugs out of the SH, RT, letting it fall to the floor. He stands before her, his CH Euro SD rising and falling with each heavy BRATH. I need you, YN, he says, his voice a low rumble that sends SH. -1 DW and her SP, NE, he reat chesty when to tug at her PN ties, his knuckles BPI eshingaga. NST her send $tiv SK, N. In, her eyes W, done at his urgency, but she nods, unable to Euro NY the heat that's building between them. She steps out of her PN ties, feeling vulnerable and exposed in just her matching BPI take me, Tay, she whispers, her voice ABR pound F-less plea. Taehyung, with a growl, Taehyung lifts her, crew $hing her body against his, he carries her to the BT, Alet ying her down gently. He takes a moment to appreciate her beauty, the way her hair fans out around her on the pillow, the rise and fall of her CHST with each BRTH. You're mine, he whispers, his eyes darkening with pause $pound cyan. He key section S her again, his hands exploring her bidu with a desperation that's both TH. Ling and overwhelming YN. Her legs W are at P around his Washington. Saint P-ing him close section as his key section S become more insistent. She can feel his arousal pre-section sectioning against her, making her wet with anticipation. Tay, please, she BGS, her voice a soft WHNE. She a pie chest her back, her B are Euro at STS pre-dollaring into his CH Euro AC, her SK, and slate copyright K with this section, Re. Taeyong, his M youth tier at ILSDW and her BD. Leia vang a path of fire in its wake, he key $$ as her collarbone, her B are pound at STS, her stomach, his hands GR. PP and G her, TH, GHS as he S pound hills between them. He looks up at her, his eyes dark and hungry. I want to taste you, he says, his voice thick with need. He key $$ as the ins, though of her TH, GH, moving CL sear to her C pounder. In her heart hammers and her CHE section T as she feels his B or a TH against her sends. Tiv.skn, she nods, her voice a hoarse whisper. Yes, Tay, please, she spreads her. I'll pound G's W, der. Giving him full access to her. She B, Tay's her L. P, trying to be as quiet as possible. THYUNG, he keyes her TH. GHS, his teeth SC are at ping gently against her SK. And as he moves close, after her C pounder, he takes a moment to inhale her scent, a mix of arousal and the faint floral scent of her perfume. You smell so good, he murmurs before his T ingwa TUCHs her FLDS, teasing gently. He looks up at her, watching her reaction, his eyes gleaming with satisfaction. YN, her eyes W, den and she B, T pound SDW and hopider on her L. P, trying to muffle the M and that TH are Euro attends to escape. Her H, he S buck upwards inlented really as he T at ST as her. Tay O, Tay double quotes, she whispers, her hands moving to his hair, tangling, in the soft strands. She can feel her be dirty, GHT running around his T-ingwa as he explores her end. M at TLY THYUNG, GR aiming at the sound of her place pounded sure. Taeyang's kisses become more intense, his T-ingwa delving pound per. He can feel her muscles GHT and around him, her be begging for release. You're so wet for me, he murmurs, his voice muffled by her SK. N, he L at PS at her with FIPI VOR, his hands GR, PP and G her H, PS firmly. I need more of you double quotes YN. Her nails dig into his scalp as his T-ingwa swirls around her CLT. The sense at Tyan almost unpound at Rabel, I'm so close, she P it ends, her eyes squeezed shut. She can feel the TNS. On building, Herbie did W on T, GT as a CIL. The need for release is growing, and she's powerless to resist his skilled ministrations. THYUNG. He smirks against her SK. N. Pleased with her response, come for me, baby, he says, his voice a gentle command that sends ASH, VDW and her SP, NE. His tongue PR Euro section sets against her, FL sking rap. Dealy, and she can't help the soft emanet escapes her. YN. Her body tenses, and she tries to keep her voice low. But the plot at $euro is too intense. She feels her OPGSM approaching, the waves of sensation building, her toes kupai ling. Tay I single quotes I single quotes I'm going to double quotes, she whispers, her voice strained. THYUNG. With a smirk, he feels her be tense and knows she's close. He doubles his efforts. His T king her CL, TNA or at PID rhythm. His eyes never leave hers, watching as she pound tours on the edge. Do it, he whispers, his eyes filled with the $. Let go for me, id. Her eyes fly open, and she stares into his. The in NS, tie of his gaze pu $hing her over the edge. She G at $PS, her back AR hing off the bed as she comes, her beat is CH at king with place pound at sure. Tay double quote she breathes, his name, her eyes glazed with section iron. She reledzes into the mattress, her CH pound he at vang. Taeyang, rising up, he as her deply, tasting her sweetness on his L. P.S. He runs a soothing hand DW in her side as her T or euro mores subside. You're so beautiful. When you see me for me, he whispers, his eyes full of love and loose section T. He chess behind her to Uncle P her BPA, peeling it away from her do. In her breathing is still ragged, but she smiles up at him, her eyes sparkling with affection. Thank you, Tay, she whispers, her cheeks flushed. She haze, when to him, her hand tentative as it sees the outline of his pound tie through his PNTS. Your turn, she says, her voice still a soft murmur. THYUNG. Taeyang's eyes flare with heated her TH, and he nods, his hands moving to his own BLT. I want you so badly, he says, his voice a gruff whisper. He does his P at ends, pushing them DW and along with his BXRS. His CK springs free, standing T at lines and proud. He steps out of them, kicking his shoes off as well. YN. Her eyes follow the path of his movements, her hand vang from his P at NTS to where P around him, her thumb brushing the PR pound copyright at the T. P she S TS up, her eyes never leaving his. And she KS her L. P.S. I want to taste you, she whispers, her voice filled with a newfound BLDness. THYUNG. He GRNs at her TUCH, his H, PSJ Euro King SL, flee. Careful, love, he W at RNS, his voice STR at Ned. Or you'll have me coming before I even get in section. The U. He watches her with hooded eyes as she let NS in, her soft, wet youth enveloping him. YN. Her cheeks are still flushed from her own climax, but the sight of him, so strong and an Euro D for her, only fuels her dissection. She takes him in, her T'ing do Euro SW, ling around the T. P before taking more of him. Into her MUTH. Asteriskum. Double quotes she hums, the vibration sending ASH. -1 DW and his SP semicolon NE. THYUNG. Taeyang's hand T. DHT pound NS in her hair, guiding her HTHM as his HPS. RCK slightly. He watches her, his eyes heavy with $T. Fouquet, YN, he whispers, his voice strained. You're so good at that. His other hand rests on her shoulder, his thumb stroking her cheek as she places Euro at serves him. The sound of the fire crackling in the fireplace is the only other noise in the room. The outside world forgotten. The candles cast dancing shadows across the wall, the flickering light playing over their entwined forms. THYUNG. With a low GRN, Taeyang Pu has away, his CK glistening with her S at L VA. If you keep that up, I won't last, he murmurs, his voice a mix of place pound at sure and warning. He led NS. Down to key $. Her again, his hand moving to her GH, his thumb brushing agat. NST her sensitive folds, asterisk, I want to feel you around me, he says, his voice a Euro P rumble. In, her eyes meet his, filled with a mix of love and day. She nods, her hand guiding him to her Yenti pie at ends. Please, Tay, she whispers, her H. PST, LT, NG. Upwards in silent INV semicolon T at TION. I want you ins. Do me dot double quotes dot tyung with a low grwl taeyung all Jian's himself with her. The T P of his CK pre-ing against her SL. Ness, he watches her face, seeing the anticipation and trust in her eyes. Ready? He asks, his voice a gruff whisper yn. Her eyes never leave his, and not her only answer as she takes ADP. St and dying B are pound at. Yes, Tae, she whispers, her hand squeezing his 4-pound arm. Taeyang, with a gentle push, he SL day into her, the feeling of her tea. Gt heat around him, making him high dollar through his T euro T8. You feel so good, he murmurs, his eyes never al euro at Ving hers. He starts to move, his H. PS setting a slow, her HUanthonic pace that makes her B. Tay her L. P to keep from crying out yn. Her eyes flutter shut. Her B adjusting to his S. Z, she nods, her nails dgg. NG into the bed sheets ben euro at her. Tay, she whispers, her voice a place pound of 4 more. She can feel herself str euro teeing around him. The place pound at sure building once again tyung. He key dollar as her forehead. His movements slow and deliberate. I've got you, baby, he murmurs, his eyes full of love. He begins to move, his steamer casts the euro P and measured. The sound of their skin meeting fills the room, mingling with the crackle of the fire asterisk the bed Siori a KS softly under their combined weight. The candles casting a warm glow over their entwined bedies. The room is filled with the scent of their dissection. The WRMTH from the fireplace W are at PPing around them like a lover's embrace THYUNG. With each slow THPUT, Taeyang's eyes never leave hers, watching for any sign of discomfort or place at pound sure. He can feel her walls DHT pounding around him. Her BR pound at THS coming out in little G at SPS. Look at me, widen, he says, his voice a soft command that brings her eyes back to his. I need to see you double quotes yn. Her eyes fly open, meeting his gaze. She nods, her cheeks flushing even, pound per. I'm okay, she whispers, her HPS moving in SUon NC with his or HTHM. She WR at PS, her LGS around his waist, PU being him CL sear. I just it feels so good. The flames in the fireplace seem to flicker in time with their paw section iron, the shadows playing over their sweat-slicked bodies like a silent film of love and need.